look in the eyes of my brother without shedding a tear for my brother.
Ooh.
Yeah. What it is, what it do, how are you? What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the InforMILLy Honest Podcast. Fellas, how y'all doing?
Doing excellent.
Good.
Excellent.
In a pleasant state, man. Hanging in there.
Yo, Pleasantville was a great movie.
Yeah. You took it back.
I say that as I don't really remember too much about it, but I remember it being this movie.
You should remember how you felt, huh? Feel you.
Yo, welcome back. We want to thank you for listening in to another episode of the InforMILLy Honest Podcast. If it's your first time, we are four brothers from Gary, Indiana, who have had a friendship lasting over 20 years, and we come together pretty much on a weekly basis now, where we get to kind of just process life, have conversation, and challenge each other inside of, the ways that life has influenced us. We've come a long way since art school, and just kind of bouncing ideas off of one another in this thing we call adulthood. And at the root of it all, we pride ourselves on having each and every conversation through the... We're going to try it again. Haha. It's okay. We don't edit this shit.
Bring that back.
Nah, we make sure to have every conversation rooted within three principles: being forthright, vulnerable, and most of motherfucking all, honest. Special alert, special motherfucking alert. We on volume 3, bitches. You gotta get an air horn.
I don't have a 3 hat, but if I had a 3 hat,
shout out to Chance.
Some
volume 3 for these here audio files. We want to thank y'all for tuning in. We hope you've been enjoying it. The numbers say that we got a couple of y'all rung in. We hope that y'all, not only getting up our listens, but go and check out these beautiful and brilliant musical artists that, are influencing us in the many ways that they have. In case this is your first time tuning into the audio files, this is where we all have chosen 4 albums that we feel intensely and immensely resonate with us. Of course, sometimes it can be, this is just a dope album, but usually it's like, hey, I was at this point in my life, or like when I heard their voice, it resonated with me in this way. And so, did we lose Adam? Oh no, he's still there.
He's back.
And so we share those 4 albums with each other, and then we come back on this day, our daily vibe.
I thought you were going to say our daily bread. Yeah.
And I
was about to bow my head.
And we say, one of those 4 choices that everybody suggested resonated with us. Okay. And so normally we go in order of Aaron, Adam, Marcus, and then myself. We're going to change this motherfucker up today. Right. And the other A of the AMS crew is going to get us started, right? So, Brother Johnson, bring your foe to the flow.
Take the mic. Grab the mic.
I think people are going to start thinking I'm like a religious person. Or like I'm part of the nation.
Because I say Brother Johnson, so
yeah.
It's such a...
it just works.
Yeah. Yo, when you get the mic, don't choke. Don't choke when you get the mics.
OG
everybody from the 219.
All right. Yeah, so I guess I'll start it off. Let's get to it. Let's see.
Let's get it.
Let me do a thing first. All right. So the first album that I put on my list was was Fashion Nugget by Cake, 90s rock band. That is Cake. So for me, the thing I like about Cake in general is, there's 3 things that stand out for me. One, the lead singer doesn't really sing. pretty much talks, but for whatever reason it works for me at least, and that's different. Two, I really like just the way they play together. Just is really like is groovy. Like the bass guitars. Like this is a true story. I actually bought a bass guitar strictly because of this band. Like I need to learn how to do. Now, with that being said, it was a used $50 guitar, so don't get the wrong idea. But I never played it. But also I found out that the bass was a left-handed bass. I didn't know anything about this life, so it's all like whatever. So, but anyway, so Fashion Nugget, I put it on the list just because it's just a different sound. Like typically when you think of '90s rock, you think Nirvana, you think that sound, that rough garage sound.
Like grunge.
They're just yeah, grunge. That's the word. And they're a step away from that. And I think more people need to know who they are. And I think they have a fantastic cover of the disco track. I Will Survive. Yeah, I think their cover of that is fantastic. Number 2 on the list is my favorite classic rock band, Led Zeppelin, with Led Zeppelin. I feel like a lot of people know who Led Zeppelin is, but I don't know that a lot of people that don't listen to rock are. Let me say this. I think everyone has heard of Led Zeppelin, but I don't think people have realized how big Led Zeppelin. People that don't listen to rock has probably heard a Led Zeppelin song and they didn't know it was a Led Zeppelin song. And like a lot of their with this album specifically, it was their first album. And to be honest with you, though they are my favorite classic rock band, like I'm not even really familiar with like what songs are on what album. So honestly, I just picked their first album and put it on the list. But the track list is pretty strong though. So, and then if I have to say, why it's on the list, it's just because I think a lot of the bands I listen to today, like the Black Keys, Alabama Shakes, Gary Clark Jr., I think they all are influenced by Led Zeppelin. I can hear it in their music. So I think it's cool to give like a kind of like an origin story, especially since I've recommended albums from those artists during this process. Number 3, Griselda with WWCD. I like Griselda. Although I'll be honest, I mean they kind of talk about the same thing, probably like every song. Slanging drugs, violence. It's pretty much the topics, and it's like I don't think that like these guys are like necessarily amazing. I just think it's cool to see a rock trio from that's rapping now, and I just hear a lot of '90s influence in them. I feel like they could have existed 15 years ago, 20 years ago, and they would have been like, they would have been accepted. And surprisingly, they're pretty accepted today, even though they're not doing like trap or they're not doing whatever is popular today.
Pretty big.
Yeah, they're like a 3-man Wu-Tang. That's what they kind of remind me of, because even their beats are like have a really like a gritty sound to them. So that's that. Yusef Kamal with Black Focus. I first heard of them when I was living in Florida. I was in this restaurant, one of my favorite restaurants, Koyo Taco in Miami. It's awesome. Anyway, one of their songs came up, and I was like, man, who is this? So I looked it up on Shazam, whatever. And then I forgot what song it was exactly, but it was a song. And then I'm like, okay, I'm gonna put this on my phone. And then I'm gonna check out the album. So I did that, went and checked out the album, and I liked it. It's like it's jazz. I don't think this is a word, but it's kind of like a neo jazz. It's kind of like new school jazz, if that's a thing.
Yeah, definitely. I think that is a genre.
I can get that.
Yeah, that's what I would consider it. And it was just cool because I don't love all jazz. I like jazz, but this is that genre, is what I like. Just a little bit of background. I don't know a lot about them, but I think it's like 2 guys from England. I could be wrong. I think the Yusef Kamal. I think Yusef is one guy and Kamal is the other. Although it sounds like one person's name.
Actually, remember we was talking about that guy Yusef Days, the other.
Yeah. He's one of the guys.
Yeah, he's the drummer. He's the drummer that works with Tom Misk.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Oh,
Smart.
I didn't know
Okay.
that.
Look at that.
Hey man.
But yeah, I mean, so that's my list. Yeah, I mean, sometimes I put stuff on here and it's like it's not necessarily that it's my favorite work of all time, but it's just like I really liked it, and at the time that I listened to it, you know, it was something that I played a lot. You know, so that's that.
Cool.
Well,
Who wants to jump out first?
I will do so.
Go ahead and pop out.
All right. Let's start with the Led Zeppelin. I thought it was a wonderful introduction to their music. Now, obviously, I had heard of them and heard their music, but I never intentionally sat down and kind of consciously zoned out on it. It was normally at like, you know, if I was out and about, or if it felt like it was background music, like I just knew of them. I would hear them in restaurants or as a soundtrack to a movie or something like that, but I never really took the time. And it was a wonderful introduction. I mean, the musicianship was phenomenal. Towards the, I mean, I could stop right there. The musicianship was phenomenal, yo. I could stop, but the last thing I put on it, because I had to say it on these notes, a very long list of notes, is I feel like I'm in an 80s action movie racing cars at 90 miles an hour and sex, drugs, and rock and roll, baby. but in a good way. I'm not usually into like this. I don't want to say screaming, like that's for lack of a better word, but like his voice worked well with the music.
Robert Plant.
Yeah. I actually looked into him a little bit, which was interesting. Let's see. I was surprised at how much I actually liked this album, actually. And I liked like the mix. I'm not honestly like I like the mix of it just shows that like it's good to be open. It's good to give shit a try, you know? I actually like the mix of I like the mix of, I don't want to say, I keep using the word I want to use is instrumentals. I like the mix of just like song, you know, the hip hop thing. I like the mix of songs with lyrics and without it. I like that they had a little mix. They had a couple of those in there. I like the extra length on the album. Like some of the songs were a little bit longer. I really like that, man. Solos are amazing. The variance and range, like the guitar playing was once again phenomenal. It's actually one of my picks for your albums. That was one of the two that I chose, and I was like surprised at how much I liked it. So, great suggestion, yo. Let's see. Let's go with Yusuf Kamal, Black Focus. Once again, I enjoyed it. I thought it was a bit eerie, but soothing. I don't know. Yeah, it's just that's a good way I could say it. Like, I'm a fan of jazz. I've always been a fan of jazz. I just kind of grew up listening to it a lot, just because it was like what my aunt listened to a lot. It was what you guys know. My cousin played in some jazz bands in Chicago and like orchestras and symphonies. So I was surrounded by it all the time. Let's see. I said it came out in 2016, but I felt like I could hear that playing during the Harlem Renaissance, like this album, which is like powerful, yo. I think it's dope. It had some futuristic vibes. Maybe that was just a part of like the eeriness to it as well. Just smooth and soothing, man. I really liked it. Honestly, I liked your whole list, except there was one I liked the least. I'll get to it, but for the most part, I liked your whole list. And like I would have chosen Black Focus also, but I was just so surprised at how much I liked the Led Zeppelin, because I hadn't really given it much of a try, that I had to put that there instead of, which was, you know, not a bad thing. It was really, really good. My last note for this album was, boy, you better play those keys. on Mansour's message. Well, you better play those. That shit was incredible, yo. So I mean, and I feel like this whole album was full of highlights like that for me. The same as the Led Zeppelin one, honestly. I have nothing. It felt good. It felt good to me. So like I said, one was one of my choices was Led Zeppelin. So let's get to Cake, Fashion Nugget. This was one of the least. This was my least liked out of the picks. It's interesting because it had like a Killers and Weezer vibe, like a mix of like a Killers and Weezer vibe to me a little bit, and I love both of those bands. But perhaps his voice could be better. Perhaps you're right. You're right.
He's not.
I realize.
He's definitely not singing.
I recognize that,
He's
and like
a vocalist.
And that was like my main. And that was like my main critique, is that it just wasn't consistent with all the tracks. To me, it didn't go. It didn't go well with, like, I mean, The Distance was a great song. It's the reason why it's one of their most popular, I think, also, at least on the album.
Yeah.
Because it's a great song.
Yeah, ever.
That's like that's when it went well. But I like their lane, kind of like the quirky. I did a little like I read up a little bit from what Spotify had to say. It's like the kind of quirky, nerdy rock or something. I mean, they use some adjectives like that. Let's see. The musicianship, once again, is phenomenal. I'm starting to catch on to like Adam's picks. It like it's always people who like either are incredible on the keys or guitars or am I wrong though?
Everybody usually has at least like one or two instruments that they gravitate most towards.
Yeah. I'm starting to catch that.
That's interesting because like for me, obviously, me being the person, I don't think about it. I just like, oh, I like this, and I just, I guess if I sat down and did a real analysis of what I like, I could probably be like, okay, I like this, like that. But that's one thing I've noticed about doing this is I feel like I know what you guys are gonna like when I make the list. Like Aaron's probably gonna pick these two. Sometimes I'm wrong, but
Oh, I'd be interested in those stats. That's interesting, man.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, I'm surprised you don't like Cake, Aaron.
Yeah, I thought that was gonna be your pick. Oh, yeah, he's gonna like it.
Once again, the musicianship is incredible. Like The Distance and a couple other songs were great. It just, I guess if I'm going for like the whole project and like consistency, was I feeling that same like excitement throughout the whole album? It didn't hit me the same way. Although like The Distance, once again, is the reason why I liked it. Like it had to me, it had like an In Search Of, like an NERD In Search Of vibe a little bit.
Okay.
Which I like. I don't mean to compare them to so many other people. They are their own band, but they give me the same feel that these other bands that I love gave me, and it's a good way to kind of compare.
Because they precede pretty much every band you said, right?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah,
I mean, I know that
they came out in 90.
I know they precede NERD and Weezer and the Killers. Yeah.
I only put it like that because it makes
that's a good point.
Like if they were an influence on any of those bands.
I wonder. Yeah.
I got a point about that, but I'll save it. It's about Red Hot Chili Peppers in relation to Cake.
Oh, word.
Which is interesting. That's why I say like
why I chose them.
Yeah, it's crazy that you don't like Cake because I feel a certain way about them two together.
Well, this is I mean, I'll explain why I chose that Red Hot Chili Peppers, by the way.
Oh, okay, yeah. So that's why I want to.
Yeah. But like, it wasn't. I'm not saying like the musicianship is incredible. Like the album, I dug, but I dug it the least out of all. Like they had their strong point. I just dug it the least out of the group. All right, so let's go to my second favorite pick and probably the number one. But surprisingly, this actually went. I was so surprised at how much I liked the Led Zeppelin, though. I was really, really intrigued by that. But so let's get to Griselda. I mean, come on, man. Come on, man. Somebody wake up this cat over here. Wake up this cat, man. Look, this out, I love Griselda, man. I love the fucking gritty hip hop. I love that gritty. I don't know shit about like what they're talking about. That life. I don't know shit about it. I don't know shit about it, but it works for me. It makes me want to fucking. It makes me look. I almost bought a Coke 45 as I listened to this shit.
Hey, the YouTube comments is funny like that.
Yeah, man.
They said it made me turn my stimulus check into a brick after I listened to it. I was dying, man. They had all kind of funny comments. I'm like, wow.
I love the production. Man, their production is like, yo,
Yeah.
they just flow so well to those beats. It's the remind me who the dude is again. I can't remember his name. The person who does their beats. What's his name? He's kind of affiliated with them in some way.
Yeah, what's his name?
People compare him to Alchemist a lot, but his
yeah. And they was talking about
starts with a D for some reason.
Yeah, I think it starts with a D. But I can't remember.
It's like named after like a gangster back in the day. Derringer based his producer name off of the historic gun company also named Derringer, but with a different spelling. The infamous gangster Adam was incorrect about was John Dillinger, who was notoriously known for robbing banks and police stations.
Derringer.
Yeah. Yo.
Yeah.
Cold, man. Cold.
Derringer.
That dude he's good. Like, I love them on his beats, man. It's like, it works for me every time. It just like, it makes me, I love this kind of hip hop. I love also, the grittiness.
They nice with Alchemist.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Listen, I mean, yo, they can talk about the same shit each song and it'll still sound cool to me. You know what I'm saying? I was gonna say the same thing. I said West Side Gun is the greatest ad-libber ever. My favorite song is Scotty's. It's just I love the back and forth of them finishing each other's verses. I love when artists do that, and it just like, and when they make it work, when it flows so well.
That's cool.
Wonderful. Let's see. The skit, the 42 seconds of blow your fucking face off is hilarious to me. I listened to it over and over. Yo, this album I listened to probably 3 times, man, and it was like, not because I needed to. I knew I loved it. I just I've always been a fan of them, man, and I'll probably be a fan forever. Like, this shit made me. The last thing I put as a note, it made me. I'll take a rapper's chain and let my son wear it. You know, and like that shit, yeah. I love that line, dog. That shit resonated with me, if you could believe it. You know what I'm saying?
What about that line? It's like, oh my goodness, like I just see myself in that line.
I was about to grab the collar of the next person I saw in the hallway. That's what they got. But and like, and last but not least, man, like, it's nothing like Raekwon like opening up an album like that. That was wonderful, man. So like, this album was dope to me. I mean, I'm probably excited about most of their albums, even their solo projects. I'm just a huge fan.
Their solo project is like Griselda albums anyway. Like, they all just on it.
It's gritty hip hop that, like, I think it's time. I think it's rare for me to use the word timeless, because a lot of times I feel like people are using music as like therapy, and it's a reason why they put it out at that time, how they were feeling at that time. It might not make me feel the same way 20 years from now, but this style, this grittiness just reminds me of something that would be, I get the feeling of it like 20 years from now, I still might rock with it. Great album. So I'm going Led Zeppelin and Griselda.
Interesting to hear those two
artists
in the same
sentence.
That's
mash up.
Yeah.
Marco, go next.
All right, so I'll go.
I'm sorry for going a little over.
So I'll go with the Cake album. I liked it, man. Like, I thought that I've heard this album over and over before for some reason, just because it's so 90s. It's like, it's incredibly 90s.
Yeah.
So I know I heard it before, but hearing it again was just like kind of dope. I think it's like a soundtrack of the 90s, really. Like, even though it's not the most popular stuff, like, I feel like I've heard this on games and like stuff like that throughout the years. So it had me thinking, like, why do I know these songs? Like, but I thought every song was like diverse, even though it kind of, the vocalist, like Aaron said, was kind of nonchalant, but I put down like it gave me spoken word like influences, which I just kind of looked at it like that. Um, I feel like they jump genres a lot. I would say that about everybody list. Like everybody put diverse groups on their list, which was very interesting. But I like The Distance. Obviously, the song "Open Book" was so super dope. I definitely heard that before. And a friend is a 4-letter word.
Yeah.
Overall,
Like,
I definitely liked it, man. It was like I said though, it was like I think it was what Red Hot Chili Peppers, I want to say want it to sound like, but they're iconic in their own right. But I feel like because they came before them, and when I listened to Red Hot Chili Peppers, it was like, dang, like they sound a lot like them. Even like the spoken word type of vibe, I got that from Red Hot Chili Peppers too, because they do that sing and / spoken word type thing / rap.
Yeah, almost like rap. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Secondly, Led Zeppelin, man. That was their first album. I thought it was one of the dopest rock albums ever. Like this album is ridiculous, and I'm not a big rock person, but it was like blues, funk, rock, like soulful. I even got some like R&B type sounds from it.
Yeah, I heard
I
Mary.
think
I heard Mary J. Blige in the back at some point.
when she was 2.
That's a funny mashup too. I thought that album art was super dope.
Yeah.
I think they are classic, but yet to me they sound ahead of their time for some reason. With it
Yep.
it's coming out in '69 is like ridiculous.
That's craziness.
Ridiculous, man. It made me think of Jimi Hendrix a lot. Their songs sound a lot
same
like
era,
Jimi
for
Hendrix.
sure.
Yeah, '69, very groovy.
Same era, yeah.
It was like gritty, but like it's gritty yet methodical type sounds. Like it's just very impressive in that way.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Go ahead.
If you don't mind me cutting in real
Nah,
quick, because I noticed, not interesting, but like, because Aaron said something about like he said something about that too, as far as like their sound, like the way it's put, the way they put the songs together. I just want to say that Jimmy Page, the lead guitarist, like I guess he's like back in the day, whatever, he was like, I guess you say he was famous for like the way he mixed and layered sounds together. Because I guess he was doing things that nobody at that time was doing or even knew how to do. So that's probably what you guys are hearing. Like, because like you said, it doesn't sound like the album came out 60 years ago.
Nah, not at
Which
all.
that's just crazy to even say that. But yeah, that's it. He was known to be like a beast in the studio. Jimmy Page.
I could see how I was gonna say like it defined something at that time, like rock or whatever you want to call this genre, it defined it, I'm sure, at the time.
Wow.
The song "Babe, I'm Gonna Leave You" is super dope. The first track, it was the first and second song. The "Babe, I'm Gonna Leave You" is the second song. That song is super dope. But yeah, very dope album. So Griselda, I'm a fan of them. I listen to them. I actually, it's funny that Aaron said like about West Side Gun ad libs. I think them as a group, as a trio, they have the best ad libs. They just Conway's laugh and Benny the Butcher, like he it's just they got the best ad libs, man.
Yeah.
And of course West Side
I think
Gun,
West Side Gun. I think he could tone it down a little bit.
Yeah, he's so
I agree.
animated.
I think everybody agrees on that.
It's so funny how the beat will be
And-
like on this album, the beats were very ominous, like in mean. Which
I feel like they were
a lot of their
minimal.
music is like that,
Yeah.
but some of it is like
Minimal, yeah.
super beautiful. Like some of the loops are so beautiful,
like-
and then he just come
Yeah,
in
like
like,
he used like a harp
it's
or
like,
something.
Yeah.
It's so funny. It's so funny, like the contrast of that.
And he'll do it so long. He'll just be shooting.
Yeah.
He'll be shooting with his voice for so long.
It's like,
no.
let me hear this beat, man. This beat is speaking to me, and you in there like in an army in a Call of Duty
Platoon.
But I thought Adam connected with the album art, even though I don't know. I didn't ask him, but I thought he would appreciate that. But the production was like some gritty New York boom bap, obviously. Yeah. Let me see. I wrote down some songs that I was feeling. Even though I heard this before, the Cruiserweight Coke, that was dope. I just never knew the names of the stuff. Dr. Bird, West Side Gun. It was funny how he said, "Right brick on my brick." He told Virgil to write brick on my brick, like they do the shoes or whatever, the off-white shoes. He always making some fashion references.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's cool.
It's a funny.
Go ahead.
Oh, sorry, it's cool. That's cool.
No, I was done with the whole album. So.
Oh no, I was just saying he says some funny stuff sometimes, like West Side
Yeah.
Gun specifically. Like what he say? He said something about like I know where your mom stay. Or,
Yeah,
like,
your grandma.
It's just the way that he worded it was just funny to me. Like
they so funny.
He's a funny dude.
They all funny. They say like they just say some like mean funny stuff. Like, they really
like, it shouldn't be funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's stuff that shouldn't be funny because it's like, why would you say that to another human or about it?
I know, man. It's crazy. It's crazy to like make being disrespectful sound so cool.
The level of disrespect is hilarious. But I liked it. I liked all of this. But lastly, Yusef Kamal, Black Focus. I really loved this. It was I think I felt like it was like a jazz funk combination. Of course, I already like Yusef Days, which when I heard the drums, I was like, they are so crisp. Like you can tell a talented drummer, man. Like is set apart. He's set apart from average drummers. Kamal Williams on the keys. The keys was crisp too. Like they just two very masterful musicians. I thought it was a very hypnotizing type combo of the keys and the drums. The way they blended together. Overall, pretty just a refreshing sound. Like I felt like the mastering of the sounds. I don't know if it just took forever or was tedious, but everything sound how it should sound, like in the layers or whatever, like however you want to describe it, the sounds were perfect for some reason. Like I just noticed stuff like that. And the bass was a very, I don't know how to, like, the bass was a rich sound, but altogether mastered, it was just like just super dope, man. I actually I guess at times I could see what Aaron was talking about, where he was saying that it was kind of eerie, but overall, I don't feel that way about this. But that's about it, man. I liked it. My two picks would probably be, and this was hard to pick, but Led Zeppelin and I have to go with Cake because it just surprised me so much.
Yo, I'm out of it.
All of them.
I'm out. I'm out. I'm kidding.
For real.
I'm just kidding.
I'm not that
I'm
it was
just kidding.
like musically crazy. It
I'm just kidding,
I
man.
guess I'm like kind of 90s nostalgic, so
Yeah.
it gave me that feeling. But honestly, it could have went anyway with all of these. So
Yeah, that's true, man.
they're my two.
I almost picked Black Focus too, but like,
Yeah.
I was surprised.
Word. That's real. That's real. I don't think I have as like immersive opinions and perspectives as y'all did on these. So I'm gonna keep mine like mad concise. I don't really fuck with Cake. Didn't really do anything for me. It might be because I have a thing about voices.
My man.
The voice just really threw me off.
For some reason, I have that too sometimes, but some reason I was able to understand.
Yeah.
Like,
it works. It works sometimes. Yeah.
Sure. I mean, not everybody who I think I enjoy their voice is a great singer, but it was something about just the frequency of his voice. And the sound of it all just was like, I don't know. It ain't vibing with me. There's Led Zeppelin, masterful, absolute masterpiece, top to bottom.
Yeah.
I had not delved into Led Zeppelin in such a long time that it was really refreshing to do so again. And so it was like a great reminder, like, oh yeah. And especially because the version I was listening to was a remastered copy.
Yeah.
And so
same.
everything was like extra crispy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I love that fun fact about hearing
Thank you, Spotify. Thank you, Spotify.
I'm on YouTube Music, but yeah.
Yeah, me too. But it's a long story. Go ahead.
I feel you. I love that fun fact about his prolificness inside of being a producer and everything. That's great. This Griselda album, of all the albums, not including my own, I really did enjoy this because I kept I put them on shuffle at a certain point, and so between this one and one of Marcus's albums, the only rap album that Marcus has, just provided like a nice contrast and feeling. Because a couple of these beats are almost kind of crunk beats, like Rise, like a couple of these beats kind of have that griminess that Crump has to it. Which is interesting because crumping is the West Coast thing. Marcus, that's hilarious because literally anytime you bring up crump, someone goes,
somebody gotta do
Yeah.
gotta do like a motion.
It looks like they're about to. It looks like they're about to throw a Dragon Ball or something.
Yo, real shit. I used to crump a lot when we were back in high school, and like crumping had like just come out, quote unquote. Like we used to be real hard on that shit back in the day. So I have a deep respect for it. And so when I was listening to it, like it resonated with me in those kind of ways of like, yo, this is legit a crump beat. If I was high right now, I would be fucking this shit up.
The tempo is kind of slow for a crump, though, right? You think?
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Crump's not fast.
Yeah,
crump isn't really necessarily fast.
Like, kind of.
I'm gonna listen to it again, and when we get off of here, because I have a tendency to be bad about writing down which songs really are good for me. I just kind of like experience that moment and keep going.
Yeah.
But when it comes back to me, I'm gonna send it to y'all, and maybe I'll like put it up later on Instagram or whatever. And lastly, Yusuf Kamal, fantastic. I was very entranced in the experience of this album. This is another one where I'm like, personally, there's particular kinds of music I love being able to like bump inside of like full coverage headphones in a dark room.
Okay, really quick. Let me say something because I actually put something similar Like I love to hear that like in a small space like the car or something where you just get that full surround sound feel. That's what the album did for me too. That's perfect, man.
I'm telling you, whoever mastered this knew what they was doing. Like,
yeah, you know what this is perfect for? A like really meditative thing for me is when the weather is just right, like the day was warm and the night is still kind of warm, but it's got this cool breeze, and you got a long drive with the windows down. That's what this album is perfect for.
Definitely.
Yeah, buddy.
And so my two choices are the Yusuf Kamal and the Led Zeppelin.
Mine could have went that way too. It's just,
I think that's what I was kind of grappling with also.
Nice. Well, glad you guys enjoyed it.
Absolutely, man. Thank you, AJ, for these suggestions.
Good list, man.
Yes, sir.
Very good list. Marco, you up next.
Okay.
Bring your foe to the flow.
I'm trying to find my 4 actually.
I can ring them off to you if you want.
He's choking.
I know.
No,
I'll just start with I'll start with Mickey Fax. Y3. So Mickey Fax I've been listening to for a while. They've been he has been in the game for a while, but I think he got his fame with more like battle rap. But I think Y3 came out in the early 10s, like 13 maybe 10, something like that. But I think he's a super dope lyricist, man. Like you could tell he's a New York guy from a battle rap background.
Thanks.
But he's actually like best friends with Lupe. And
he brings him up a couple of times.
Yeah. And they always talk about each other, but you could tell they have a friendly competition type, as all lyricists kind of do when they're friends. But his music, this particular album is my favorite, one of my favorite from him. It talked about things that we still talking about today. It touched on a lot of stuff. And it just had some tracks where it was bars. Like, I appreciated that a lot. And just all around refreshing. He got some lines, a lot of quotables in here.
Oh,
a lot of
you better believe I wrote one down.
If you have an ear, come give Mick a load. He was talking about he was talking about some beers, and then he dropped out. And he was just it could go on for days. Like, he is a talented lyricist, and I love the song with the 8-Bit Dream with what's his name?
Charles Hamilton.
Yeah, Charles Hamilton.
Yeah, I love that song.
I mean, I love all the songs on this.
And
but that was dope. And the one about Dr. King really was a great song.
Room 306.
Yeah. So
that was
whole
good.
album.
That one stands out for me.
Actually, is a mixtape, but come on, it's an album.
Yeah,
it's an album.
The whole album is dope to me.
Only thing that makes this a mixtape, in my opinion, not to cut you off, is because they use some beats they know they didn't know.
Yeah. And the posse joint was kind of take it or leave it, like how they was. I think it was called No, actually, I enjoyed it, but
you talking about Pendulum? Pendulum?
Yeah, Pentagon or
Pendulum. Oh, Pentagon.
I like the 5, all the 5 references, and how they chopped it up in 5 segments or whatever. But I don't know. I felt like that was one of the weaker songs on there. But I'm trying to think of what was my other pick.
So your other two were give me 2 seconds so I can get the album name. Anything in Return by Toro y Moi.
Toro y Moi. He's one of my favorite artists, man. Like, I think he's so dope. I saw him at Pitchfork one year. But this album, you know, I always gotta have an album like this in my list.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
But this is my favorite album from him, man. Like the title track, Anything in Return. All these songs on here is dope for me. Like I don't know what it is. It's just I think he can do anything. Like he has a lot of albums, but I think he can do like any genre to me. His voice is kind of light at times, like it's kind of maybe I won't say hard to hear, but it was kind of like the beats, his music is so rich, is a good contrast with his voice, but at the same time sometimes I got to look at the lyrics. But the music in this is crazy to me. Like this is my favorite one off of the list. So yeah, Toro Imoy, his name actually means like the bull in me. Like it's just a combination of that. But he's a very diverse artist, producer. He makes his own beats, and one of my favorites. Next, the internet, Hive Mind. The internet is an amazing band to me. Very soulful, very groovy, very everything I need in a band. Sid, the lead singer, she does not look like she has this voice, but
that was a point I was going to bring up.
yeah, we always talk about this. Like she doesn't look how she's too much how she sounds, which is a weird thing to say, kind of. But when you see her, it's like, oh, you know, whatever. But she's very
Whatever.
she's very talented. But, her band has to be mentioned. Like they are super dope.
Yeah.
The bassists, all of them, like
Yep.
they are a great live band. Actually, they were at the same pitchfork as Toro Imoy when I saw them. So that was one of my favorite.
It was a delight,
yeah.
for you to.
And I want to say Wolfgang was there and Pusha T and some other people, but yeah, all of their songs are a vibe, if you will. Very groovy. What vibe you say? Live instrumental type, just groovy R&B vibes to me. So I can play this at any time and be in the mood. So that's one of my favorite albums. And Kenna, Make Sure They See My Face is like a rock, kind of like alternative rock maybe. Produced by the Neptunes.
It makes a lot of sense.
And
he was signed to him.
Yeah, he was signed to him, and this was his first album. And actually, I think he maybe came out with 2 or 3, and a few like weird. You know how they make EPs? That's like, is it EP or whatever? Like 2 song, 3 song, whatever. He's not he's not consistent with coming out really, but I like this album, man. It's the lyrics are. It's like I feel like he's revealing himself, like in a way, and just like the layering of his music is intense. Actually, is not a lot of songs on here that I don't like. Some of them sound similar, and I think that's maybe because of his voice. But I've been listening to this album since like it came out. I think it maybe
came out
around 07. Yeah, 07. I think I heard him initially on like a PSP commercial.
That actually makes sense.
and the song just stuck with me, and I've found his album and found that he was produced by one of my favorite producers, and it's a good combo, man. I believe he's from Virginia too, and
Ain't shit to do but cook.
he's not the strongest. He's not the strongest vocalist to me, but it just works, man. With
he knows his lane.
yeah, and it I feel like very much so he knows his lane, and I will say like he found his sound, his rock niche or whatever. So, that's it, man.
Ooh.
All right.
I'll jump out on this one.
All right.
I feel like I never really do. Hold on, let me get my list back. First off, I can definitely tell you one of my choices is Kenna. I remember this album from back in the day. Me and an ex of mine used to rock the fuck out to this shit. And I'm not sure if it's alternative rock or like electro rock or what have you, but it's a excuse me. It's such a lovely project of vulnerability throughout that I completely vibe and rock with. I still like go the fuck up for Sunred Sky.
Yeah, I was just thinking about that song. It's so catchy. It's a dope song. Like
it just I don't know how you can hear give me that sun red. But like I don't know how like
it's so haunting, man.
it just takes me up every fucking time. So Kenna is definitely a strong choice for me.
It's a journey. It's a journey of an album to me.
I can get that. I want a little more, at least sonically anyway. I think probably lyrically, because I don't fully know every lyric to every song like that. But I think sonically, I want more variance for a journey. I'm not saying it isn't a journey. I'm saying that I think the journey is like this, as opposed to a dramatic, like different leveling. The Total Imoy,
man.
I'm sure I do this for like every one of these albums you put on your list, but I don't know. But it didn't do it for me. It didn't do it for me this go round. I didn't dislike it. I know there were songs that I did enjoy, but as a whole project, I enjoyed this more when I had it broken up with other stuff from the list than I did listening to it as a straight project. And so that may be the thing that I just wanted more interspersed. The internet is always cool. I usually enjoy them. It can get a little monotonous sometimes, but I do enjoy them because they are very much, as the kids say, a vibe. I agree with you that Sid does not look like her voice, because it's almost like y'all know BJ the Chicago Kid. I don't think he looks like his voice either.
Nah, he actually sounds like Kendrick Lamar a lot to me. When he not when he sings, really, more like when like Kendrick Lamar don't sing.
When he does when he does ASMR.
I was like, wait, what?
Listen to, because they actually got a song together.
Yeah, on Section 80.
Well, on his album too.
Love Section
on BJ the Chicago Kids album too.
Okay.
And they have a song where he's rapping and he sounds just like him. And when he talks, he sounds just like him to me. But
word.
I don't want to take your time.
No, you're good. But I do enjoy that album. Yeah, I got nothing against that album at all. But my other choice is Mickey motherfucking Facts. Griselda was cool. This was the rap album that got me personally.
He's nasty.
Because
I think he's East Coast Lupe. I think he's East Coast.
I could give you that because I was like, yo, the frequency in which his tone is what gets me like, and his tone and lyricism.
That's that battle
are
rap.
fucking disgusting.
That's that battle rap shining through.
Yeah, but the thing is, what I find for a lot of battle rappers, they can't necessarily make songs.
Make music.
I agree. Yeah.
Like
that's what's different about Mickey Facts to me. Like,
yeah. Which I find even funnier because now battle rapping doesn't even have music. Like the motherfuckers are just rapping because they were like, you know what, fuck it. Since we can't make music, we just not gonna make music. Like, fuck all this rapping over a beat shit. Like, yo, you just gonna get whatever bars and whatever cadence that I feel like fucking doing right now. Yeah. And hold on, because I gotta repeat a line, seeing as how the crowd have to yell real quick.
Yeah,
so you're gonna
it's definitely a type of cadence in battle rap.
But I love this Mickey Facts album. This Mickey Facts album is great. Hayworth, I didn't write it down. I just remember whatever song Sci-Hi was on, I remember enjoying that song. So I'm looking at it right now. I enjoy 8-Bit Dreams. I love Room 306.
All the features made sense, man. All the features were incredible.
I don't necessarily agree that the Pentagon song was the weakest song. But I'm not going on my way to listen to that song, but if it comes on, it's cool.
I guess I think like in the scope of that album, that was more of a too mixtapey. But it still fit in its own way. But
but this album is fucking great. 414, fantastic way to start the album.
Yeah,
that's set. It set the whole fucking tone of you about to get Irish Springed up in this motherfucker, bar for motherfucker.
Yeah, I like the way you did that.
That's y'all get a chance, man. Like, check when he come up to radio stations. Like, he destroys, man.
Yeah,
I don't know why people don't know about him. It's ridiculous.
It's a little ridiculous. I'm about to like be on YouTube just looking up freestyles because I'm like,
his freestyles is hard. Ridiculous.
All right, I'm done. Kenna, Mickey Facts. That's me.
All right. Adam, you mind if I go?
Not at all.
I appreciate it, Brother Johnson. I want to refer to you properly. I want to refer to you properly. Approach you as such.
What's really funny, I don't think we've said anybody else's last name on this podcast.
Sound like
all right, let's start with Mickey Facts. Bishop, that's great.
It is.
Let's go with some things are just worth another laugh. Like, one is not enough. You know what I'm saying? Let's go with Mickey Facts. I mean, I agree with everything that has already been said. The production was great. I feel like he's a wonderful storyteller, and I'm a sucker for storytellers. And he's just so clever and witty with it, but he's also crisp. And like, his flow is so crisp. I understand what he's saying. Like, he enunciates properly. Shit was just hitting, yo. I have an affinity for people who just are good storytellers, but also when they could be clever and witty within that. Because sometimes you could just tell a story and it's just kind of straightforward. But if you can also bar it up, like within a story that makes sense, I think that's wonderful. I think it hits better. Let's see. It was refreshing to hear Charles Hamilton again, man. I was a big fan. I remember when we found him on what's that thing called? It was like Gallery something, Artist Gallery. Remember that? And he started like he's like, oh shit.
It was some website
that like NERD was like keeping track of. Like NERD would like watching like fine artists and stuff on them.
Called?
Artist Gallery, I think, or something.
I know what you're talking about.
You know,
I remember that.
I remember NERD like suggesting people. It was like fashion, music, all of that. And I remember finding him like, yo, this dude is sick. And he was like the freestyle king for a while. He just freestyled for 20 minutes at the barbershop or something. It's crazy, man. It's just really this album was refreshing. This dude is incredibly talented, yo. So I agree with everything that's been said. This dude is dope as hell. I will be doing a deep dive in his music. I know I was familiar with him, and I know Marcus that spoke about him previously, but I never really, jumped in and really indulged. But you better believe, you better bet your bottom lip I will now. No, so this was one of my picks. This album was dope. I don't have too much. Like, honestly, I feel like this album was a journey. You're talking about like journeys. I feel like this album was a journey. I appreciated his transparency in this album, and I feel like it had an uplifting tone as well. Like somebody who was getting over something. It was like who was like, and Bruce Lee said, don't pray for an easy life, pray for the strength to endure a challenging one. This is what this album made me feel like.
A lot of his music is like that. He called his fans my achievers.
Yeah,
he got an album called The Achievement or whatever, and
this is like a lot of what I would
got
like.
a pretty hardcore fan base.
I was very pleased with this one, yo. This was refreshing. So my favorite song in there was Pendulum. The production was just crazy, and that bar. Homie said, if I ain't the one, I'm close to it like 12:59. So wait a minute, give me time. Yo. I'm gonna move on.
There's a lot of hidden gems in this album.
It's a lot. It's a lot, but that one just, I almost crashed the car on 85, on Highway 85. All right, let's go to Toro y Moi. I'm familiar with him from Marcus years ago. I think you've been talking about them for a while. I remember you and Sam, I think I think giving me a burnt CD of this one, or like of their music. Groovy, chill vibe. I agree. Like the thing, like I know you mentioned earlier, Marcus, about when you were explaining it, like the richness of the music almost made it seem like the lyrics weren't as like it wasn't downplaying like in a bad way. It was just like it was so rich that it was like, well, the music, I could listen to this whole album with no lyrics, and I would still like it. I would still enjoy it. I think the lyrics, I think the vocals went well with it, but I liked it. But I would say it's the music stood out to me more than the lyrics, and that could be very well because of how they did it, maybe purposeful. So maybe kind of, I don't feel like it necessarily took away, but it's just what stood out more for me. I preferred it. Of course, like as there's one album or one song in every one of these episodes we do that reminds me of the Drive soundtrack. And this is so this was it.
No, I knew he was gonna say this was my Drive soundtrack album.
Yeah, exactly. This
if I will have to put it in that.
It also felt experimental in a good way to me. I feel like he experiments a lot, because I listened to some of his other music like after I listened to this album, and I appreciate his experimental nature, I guess I'll say it like that. And I feel like he experimented on this. I felt the sense of him trying things out on this album as well. And I like that. I like that a lot, man. Just good vibes, man. He has a distinct chill vibe, distinct chill sound that I really like. Let's get to the internet, Hive Mind. So this was my second choice. First was Mickey Fax, and this was my second one. I had heard of them, but I don't think I heard much of their music. I just knew of them from other people who would suggest it or talk about how great they were. I mean, I was very pleased with this album. I don't have too much. I don't have really anything negative to say outside of. I think that was you, Josh, who said that they could get a little monotonous. Like it just, I understand that. But for the most part, it was just refreshing and it felt good. It was like a feel good
music. Yeah.
Feel good music, and not necessarily, it just sounds good. And I like it. It actually, there's something to it that makes it more than that, more feel goody than that. It just hit me in that gut feeling that I have where I'm like, all
I'm
right,
trying to say vibe.
I just know.
Say vibe.
I just know. I mean, it was just so sonically easy, like easy listening, so sonically pleasing. Like such a creative bunch to me, and like clever. Her voice, of course, is wonderful. I agree with what you guys said. I think her voice is wonderful, man. The smooth production. Let's see. I really enjoyed the bridges a lot too. I really appreciate good bridges, and that's something that like really resonated with me on this album. Let's see. Yeah, man.
Sorry.
No. Yo, the movie, right? The movie, 21 Bridges.
When they hit me, I'm like, that's
the movie, right?
bit of a reach, dog.
Yo, me just being like, okay. Yeah. It was just like, yeah, man. Yeah.
I'm sorry. It hit me. And
You're talking about the movie, right?
Yeah, I
okay.
Yeah.
21 Bridges.
Okay.
Bridge.
Yeah.
San Francisco Bridge.
Yeah.
Tom Hanks Bridge.
I put 30 more seconds up on the clock.
That was funny.
Honestly, with this album, I got the same refreshing feeling as like the Cleo Soul. I felt like it felt like a beginning of something as opposed to something like somebody who's been out and put out multiple albums already. Yeah, like it felt really good. Hold On is my jam. It's one of my favorite songs. I think I had to sing that to my girl like 12 times. You know what I'm saying? She was like, "Baby, it's late. Let's go to sleep." I was like, "Hold on, I'm at the bridge. I'm at the bridge. Hold on." But like the song "It Gets Better with Time" is my favorite one.
Oh yeah,
so clever. It's so good. Yo. That shit's jamming. So this is my second choice. Such a creative collective, man. Like the harmonizing is phenomenal to me. It really stood out. Last but not least, Kenna, Make Sure They See My Face. I mean, NERD was all over this album.
Yeah.
And I could totally understand why they gravitated towards him, or vice versa, why he gravitated towards them. I hadn't really heard, I remember him, and I remember hearing some of these songs on this album, but like I never listened enough, never gave him enough time. The most I know about Kenna outside of this album was when he was climbing
Mount Kilimanjaro.
Mount Kilimanjaro with Lupe. Yeah. That's the last thing I heard of the dude. So, but
I guess he made it.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's see. You talked about the levels and the layers on this album. I put that down. It's like it stood up to me. There was so many levels and layers to this album. That's what stood out the most. I appreciated it. The one thing I would say, which I think you spoke about a little bit, is his voice. Like the vocals were hit or miss a little bit. I think some songs like Daylight, which I love, just really showcased his voice. And like other ones were a little more catchy. So I could see vibing with it because it was catchy, but the voice didn't really serve his voice as much. Like the song, like Wide Awake. Serve it quite as much. But I think he's like, the dude kills some choruses. I will say that. Yeah, I've actually preferred his voice on the choruses than some of the actual verses. I don't know what. No joke.
I like how you put that.
But overall, he's dope, and I remember liking his voice. I mean, I remember liking his music back in like 2007 or around the time when this album came out. But like he just goes so well with that NERD, that Star Trek vibe, man. That sound I'm always gonna be a sucker for. So that'd be my 4. I go with Mickey Fax and The Internet.
Cool. Oh, it's on me. Let's see. I'll start with I'm gonna start with Kenna, just because it's on. We just talked about it. So for me, What's interesting about them is I didn't know they were signed by or worked with Pharrell and Chad and those fellas. But the funny thing is, I did it right. I was like, feels like a wait, let me find it. Okay, feels like NERD, Red Hot Chili Peppers, the Killers had a kid. Well, had kids, formed a band.
That's hilarious.
And it actually is just him and the Neptunes, or
Okay.
actually, I don't know if Chad exclusively, but he is somewhat of a producer. It's really no band. It's just him and
Yes, I didn't know that. It sounded like it was a full, like, I thought Kenna was the band name, and then it was, I didn't realize it was a solo artist. But that's good though. All right, so for me, I didn't love it necessarily, because like for me it was like some of the songs, not all of them, but some of them just kind of had like a little bit too much happening for me, because like I can only take a few, a little bit at a time musically. But I really did like "Say Goodbye to Love" was probably my favorite song in there.
Oh yeah, that's single, I think.
Oh, okay, so yeah, that's my Also, I need to make it known that your list was the first one I listened to, and I was a minute ago at this point. So, don't judge me too harshly on these responses. So let's see. Who else we got? Hive Mind. Yeah, I'll go with the internet, I guess. The internet. I actually listened to this album when I was painting. I was painting the house when I was listening to this. And I've heard of them too, but I've only heard a few songs by them. I've listened to their Tiny Desk concert, which is got to be my top. It's got to be my top 5 as far as Tiny Desk concerts go.
Wow.
So probably like number 5, probably. But funny thing is about the lead singer, and we were talking about, she doesn't sound like, she doesn't look like how she sounds. This is interesting to me. I've always thought she looked like or maybe he looked like her, but Robert Knight. I don't know if you remember Robert Knight.
Oh yeah! Wow.
But, no, I don't agree with that at all.
I kind of see what you mean, but like the head, I don't know.
I'm telling you.
Nah, I can't give you that one.
When this air just put up a comparison photo.
I gotta ask him for permission.
Yeah. Get that consent, son.
But anyway, I love this album. It was great. The bassist, man, like I love a good bass guitar player, because they don't get a lot of credit. So whenever I hear one that's like, oh man, this dude or gal, I should say, Krongman, is a chick. The bass players, man, it's like I just love a good bass player. And I'm not saying the bass player in this band makes the band, but he heavily makes me like the music more. So I'll just say that. Then we got make sure you see my. I already said that one. Because I don't have. I'm not looking.
You got the Toro.
It's all good. Y3 by Mickey Fax and
okay. Yeah. So I'm gonna go with. Yeah, I'm gonna go with Mickey Fax. So this album, I've heard of him too, but I hadn't heard anything from him. I just heard the name before. Funny, I actually thought he was from Chicago for some reason. It just sounds like a Chicago name for some reason.
Yo, so did I.
Maybe because I was thinking of Mickey Halstead, maybe. Which is ironically
that song about Kanye made.
Oh yeah,
yeah. But anyway, so that album I thought was great. I wish I wrote down some of the lines that I liked, but from what I remember, I remember going back to certain songs and going back like 15 seconds, like, what do you say? But no, I really liked it. Like I said, I can't remember a lot of details about it, because like I said, I listened to it so long ago at this point, and I've only listened to it once. But I remember this and the internet are my top 2, easily actually. Then Turo Imoy, I think.
Yeah.
Okay, so for this guy, I actually heard of him too. Although I didn't know it was one guy. I thought it was two people because I saw the E in the name and figured, oh, somebody and somebody. But I guess that's not the case. But so I liked the production for the most part. But for me, the voice kind of threw me off a little bit. Honestly, that's probably all I got to say about that. Like, I probably would have, like, if it was no lyrics, I probably would have been more. It probably would have resonated a little bit more. But nonetheless, I didn't care for it that much. But I really did enjoy Mickey Facts and the internet, and I still listen to Hive Mind to this day. I mean, it's like in my regular,
Playlet rotation.
Yeah.
Okay. I realize we probably haven't been like, I know you're gonna do the tally in post, but I haven't been like, oh yeah, this is the who won this person's list and that person.
Yeah.
Cool. I'm going next. Let's stretch out.
Batter up.
All right. So let's hop into my list. Try to keep this good and quick. First, we got self-titled album Esperanza by Esperanza Spalding. This was the first album that I got into of hers. I believe it's her second studio album, though. I think she is a magical musical creature of a person. And I'm pretty sure I enjoy every song on this. And the song Precious was like the one that like sold me on this, where it's just so heartwarming and sweet of a frequency to tune in to. Fall In was one that like got to me, this whole album. Next we got Death Magnetic by Metallica. Admittedly, I got into Metallica later on in life. My brother was like my main in as far as rock music was concerned, because he was the only one that could kind of like get it into the house, because my mom thought everything that wasn't gospel was about the devil, especially when it came to rock. And so when I got a hold of this album, that was when I finally like got into Metallica, and then I was able to go back and get into more like a Master of Puppets and Battery and the classics of Metallica, because this is very much not this much later work of theirs. Whom also their lead singer, who I forgot to look up his name, is another example of somebody who I don't think looks like their voice, especially and it's because I don't know what younger him looked like off rip, but older him doesn't. He looks like a contestant on Forest and Fire. Like he looks nothing like his voice, in my opinion.
Pass our time. I mean, before our time, as the old heads say.
Next we have Yardine by Gabriel Garzon Montano. I originally got into his first mixtape. I do not remember the name of it, but he has a song on there that I thought was just a dope song, and then I found out that apparently Drake had sampled it at some point. Rock me real slowly, put a bit on me.
Yeah. While he was freestyling from his phone. All right, I'm done.
I don't know, maybe. But this is his second project that I thought was really, really dope of a sophomore project. I don't even know if it's considered an album technically, as it is maybe just a long EP. And but thoroughly stand by this project as far as every bit of the frequency I can always enjoy. And he's a great composer. He's a great songwriter, all around great artist. And last but not least, Chicago's own Sidewalk Chalk. These are good friends of mine. I love all of these people dearly. This is their fourth studio album, An Orchid is Born, in which was their fourth album, because one of their albums is a live album. But it is an amazing project. It's probably the like biggest album of theirs. and from how I feel anyway. It's produced by Spud, a member of Snarky Puppy, who was on the previous list. He used to be the drummer for Snarky Puppy. I think he's doing more keys now. But this came out in 2017. Amazing fucking album that talks on love and politics and protest. It goes through a gambit of emotions. This is what I do feel is very much a journey, because it takes you into these different places tonally and theme wise. So yeah, those are my 4 albums. Fellas, get in there.
All right, let's go. Hey Marcus, do you remember that teacher? It was a substitute teacher or something at Emerson. He was like, "Y'all got to go," and his face just stuck like for like a minute, and we just started laughing in front of it. We laughed at him in his face.
That was
that was the moment, man.
Remember Mr. Cartwright?
Yeah, that was wild times. He swung.
Hey, man,
that dude swung. He swung on me, bro.
Yeah, I remember. We were so bad in that class. Hey, remember how bad we had?
Yeah. He called me
like paper fights, like in the movies and stuff. We really had that.
He called me a motherfucker in front of the class. I was like, what?
Yeah.
And he denied everything. Yo,
and he used to eat in front of us, man. He was disrespectful, man.
Yo, straight up. Yo, that dude would pass the treat out to everybody other than me and Marcus.
and he fell out of his chair in the lab.
I remember that.
I'm like, yo, he denied everything when during the parent teacher talk with me there. I'm like, bro, you can lie directly in front of my fucking face, you super genius. remember he called himself a super genius. He wrote like 12 books or some shit.
Yeah, that's that Trump stuff.
Yeah,
that is Trump shit.
Anywho, let me give me a minute and 30 seconds on the clock, please. All right. Let's start with let's start with Esperanza. I thought her voice was beautiful. I thought it was sultry. I thought her voice was pure. I could listen to that shit all day. I like the jazzy feel of this album as well. She had like a Sade. She gave me that Sade feel as well that I really like. But as far as the one thing I would say is it got a little. I don't even know if this is. At one point, I felt a little monotony, like it got a little monotonous.
Mm-hmm.
And I
it's
feel
all
like
pretty low. Yeah, so I get that.
Yeah, and the weird thing is, I know I've listened to other albums and loved them, and they probably did the same thing. For some reason, it resonated with me a little bit more. But her voice is incredible, and like her voice went so well with that sound, so maybe that's why they like stuck to it. But I think that she could have. I think that she could try. I've only listened to this one album, so perhaps she's tried different ranges, or she's varied a little bit here and there in other albums.
She got a lot of albums.
So
yeah,
I haven't checked them out. But
funny thing is, she's actually a bass player. That's like her primary thing. So the vocal thing is like second. She's an upright bass player.
Well, that's why the
upright bass that you hear on there is her.
Okay, yeah. That's why the musicianship is awesome. Okay, well there you go. There you go. And that's probably, it makes sense that like why her voice goes so well with it. I think when you can play the music and sing really well, it just like it lends a hand. Like they lend a hand into each other. So it's a beautiful marriage. But the main thing I took away is that like her voice is pure, man. Her voice is incredible. And like for this album, it did wonders for me at least. The one thing I would just say is it got a little monotonous. So let's go to Metallica. Josh always got one of these, man. He always got he always got one of these that challenge me a little bit, man. got my damn hair standing up on the back of my neck, bro. Once again, it's the musicianship is incredible. Like they are incredible musicians. It's just challenging for me to get with the vocals, the aggressive vocals sometimes. I can get with the aggressive vocals. And, it's crazy. I can listen to a gritty Griselda hip hop where West Side Gun is fucking saying the same thing for 42 seconds. You know what I'm saying? Yelling at me the same. I don't know what it is, why I can appreciate that. But it was that's my same critique over, and it's just the same critique each time. It's just I see why it worked. I'll say this: it worked well with the music, sonically. It worked well for this album. Like, given what they were trying to do, I think it just doesn't touch me the same way. Oh, that is definitely what she said. But it just doesn't resonate with me as well as like the musicianship alone did. I'm like, so it's easy to find something good about the album, because that, to me, that's great on most rockers. People who really rock out are good at that, are great at that. So I listened to this album twice. Once again, I was about to do it a third time. Like, I know there's something more that I like. I know there's something more. I mean, Metallica also is Metallica, and like I've obviously heard them and heard the music out and about, because they're like a big name, and almost every 3 people that you know has a fucking Metallica shirt somewhere or has had one. So like I'm bound to hear it. I'm bound to hear it, you know. So I think for what it is, I think it was cool, actually. I actually think it was cool. But just in the context of me not, like, that particular style, I guess, not resonating with me that well, I have to acknowledge that. But for that album, I think it was actually really cool. I was actually surprised. I'll end it like that. I was actually surprised. In a good way. In a good way. How well that style of vocals went with the wonderful musicianship that I love every time. All right, Sidewalk Chalk. Josh has put me on, I mean, for years now with Sidewalk Chalk. I loved it. I mean, I feel like I love most of the music, like most of what I've heard, and most of what I've heard has come from Josh. Just like electric and like refreshing. I love the production, the energy on this album. I thought was wonderful. I love that it had like an uplifting vibe to me. Also, it kind of had a similar vibe that the Mickey Fax one did. Because like a lot of what they were saying in the lyrics were very, very relatable to now, to what's going on. So I like the relatability. I guess we'll use that. And it makes it a little more timeless. I like that they approached heavy topics, and I got the feeling like they approached the heavy topics. So like, it's like when somebody tells a really good joke, but it has some truth in it. So like you can like make it allows it to land easier. So you approach, you say something heavy that needs to be said, but it allows it to land easier. It's easier to listen to. I feel like they achieved that on this album, in my opinion. I love that. I love that mix of like just great music, because I've always appreciated their ability to make music, but to be able to land topics that, to me, that need to be said, it just makes it easier. Yeah, I appreciate that talent. I think that's a skill. I don't see everybody doing that. Yeah, so dope album. It was refreshing. So let's see, what did I? So yeah, Sidewalk Chalk is one of my choices, and last but certainly not least.
Not yeast?
Yeah, least. You said it's called Yard. How do you pronounce the album name again? Yardine.
I believe it's Yardine.
Okay, Yardine. My favorite out of this choice. Actually, this is one of my favorites out of this whole round so far. I wrote down amazing and underlined it twice on my notes, and I could stop there, but I won't. His voice is, dude's voice is dope. The production is dope. I could listen to it over and over. I love the way he changed his voice for different songs. Like the range, the way he was able to manipulate his voice for different songs was phenomenal to me. I think that was more. It's very creative. It allowed it to not be monotonous. It felt experimental, and it just so happened that everything he experimented in was fucking dope. It worked for me. Just the way his voice laid over the beats, like the production was wonderful to me. I really just felt like this is a rich album, and it moved me, man. Like I feel like he was vulnerable on this album. Maybe that's the part that stood out the most. That like moved, that really touched me or moved me the most. Is that I felt like he was vulnerable. He tried different things, different songs, different vibes, and it felt authentic. I guess not that other people aren't, but that stood out to me, and I feel like whenever that stands out to me in this way, it's bound to move me. So, Yardine, and Sidewalk Chalk are my choices. Both amazing albums.
Sounds good.
Yo, side note, keep challenging me. Keep challenging me, by the way. I'm going to find one of these rock albums that I'm going to fucking just to give you a hug. I'm going to give you a hug when I listen to it. The next time, keep challenging me.
Nice.
Finally.
Well, I'll start my brief analysis. I'm gonna call it that. But anyway, so first up we have Esperanza, which Esperanza by Esperanza Spalding. I always want to say Esperada for some reason, like Esperanza or something. I keep wanting to say her name differently. But anyway, so I've heard of her before. Kirsten, I know like some years back she used to play her a lot. I recall her playing her a lot. So for this album though, I liked it. I think, how can I say it? I think it's one of those albums where like it could have been just the music, or it could have been what it was, and it still would have been great. And I think that says a lot about her as a musician and whoever else she, got to play with her, because obviously it wasn't just her. But yeah, I like that. I love female vocalists. I have for years. I love a good female vocalist, so it's great, when I could hear an album that I like, from top to bottom. Number 2, Death Magnetic by Metallica. I think everybody's heard of this band before. So, but I don't think everyone's listened to an album. Like Aaron was saying, like 1 out of like 3 or 4 people has a Metallica t-shirt. But see, so for me, I have no issues with, metal or hard rock or whatever, you would want to call them. Probably a little bit of both. I actually like this album. I cannot name any songs that I liked, to be honest. I'm terrible with song titles, but I do remember liking it, and I haven't really anything bad to say. The lead singer, I'm not sure what his name is. I don't necessarily love his voice, but he just has one of those voices where it kind of goes with the territory. I mean, like I feel like if you listen to a lot of metal, you're gonna hear like a lot of different voices and a lot of ranging. But the cool thing about rock, and you could probably say this about all genres, but the cool thing about rock, at least for me in rock that I listen to, not all of the singers that I listen to in rock have great voices or even sing, as previously stated from the guy from Cake. But no, I liked it. I got nothing bad to say really.
Just because I want to pay respect to him. James Hetfield is the lead singer's name.
Okay, nice.
And we also need to get into Lars Ulrich, their drummer. Is one of like those drummers that like in the music world, like that's that dude, because I'm pretty sure I could be very wrong about this, but from what I got back in the day, people praised him for being one of the best double bass drummers.
Okay. Yeah, I know the drummers, and I'm assuming that's the guy from Metallica. Make sure I heard you right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I know in metal, like those guys, I think jazz and metal produce the best drummers, because it's like
I can get that.
what they're able to do is like I never hear anyone else do. Like especially in metal, those dudes be. Yeah. But yeah. So next up, we got Yardine by Gabriel, Garzon, Montano. Easily my favorite album out of this list. I feel like that type of music is right up, it's like right up my alley. Like I love that type of music. It's kind of like if it sounds like they take different elements from different genres and like, make it into one thing or whatever. It's like
Mhm.
it's like fusion music. I just like when people take different elements and blend them. Now, I won't lie, when I saw the album cover, I was intrigued. I'm like, what is this gonna be about? Because I
Yeah.
couldn't even begin to guess. Like,
Who is this? Who is this Enrique Iglesias looking motherfucker?
yeah,
With the red eyelid.
yeah. I was a little. I literally could not even guess what genre music. I was like, maybe and I saw the name. And I'm like, okay, well, maybe he's. I didn't even know if that was Spanish. Is that Portuguese? I really didn't know.
Yeah.
But in conclusion, I really like it. Sidewalk Chalk. Actually, I've heard of them too. Although I've only known like one song from them, and that's because Kirsten played the hell out of it. I think it's called Satellite. I think it's called Satellite. Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
I
yeah.
know that song.
All right. So yeah. So that was my first introduction. Actually, you introduced me to them, and I think I had it's probably from that album. I had it on my I had it on my laptop like years ago, my iTunes library, and I think that's how she heard. I don't know. I still don't know how she even heard of them, but I actually never listened to it. I just knew that song. But anyway, fast forward to this album, "An Orchid Is Born." So for me, it's like that type of hip hop where it's like a lot, where it's like obviously hip hop, and then you have some jazz in there, and you have a little bit of everything. And I know I just went on record of saying I like when people take different elements and do whatever. However,
it felt
it's
like
like
too
for
much.
this one, it's like no, it wasn't too much. It's like this is one of those albums where I felt like if it was live and I saw them do all the stuff and like it would have been great. But for me, and I think when I was listening to this, what was I doing? I might have been driving. And me personally, I don't really like to drive and listen to music for the first time because I'm obviously
Good point.
paying attention to the road.
Good point.
If it's something I heard a million times, then I don't need that much concentration. And the rapper, I'm not sure what his name is, but it was kind of hard to hear some of the stuff he was saying just because there's instruments and that's always instruments when somebody's rapping, so that's not anything new. But like I said, it's just like I think for me, I think I was in the wrong place when I was listening to it. I feel like this would have been better for me if I just chilling at the house or painting like the one day. That was good because I didn't really have anything else to do but do this. So but yeah, so that's all I got on that. So my picks would be the one guy, Gabriel, Garzon, Montano, and 2 would probably be Esperanza. Be my 2 picks.
All right.
The MC's name is Rico Cisney, by the way.
Okay, Rico. All right.
I'm gonna have to holler at Rico next time I come to Chicago.
He lives in Oakland.
All right. So yeah. So I guess I'll just get onto my list then. No, maybe if I move to Washington, maybe I'll go holler at him. All right.
Yeah.
That's some
Let's
dedication. Meet this
Marco
man.
is on you.
All right. So I might as well start off with who you just left off with, Sidewalk Chalk. Just like y'all, I think I'm pretty sure Josh introduced them to me. And I liked them. Ever since he recommended them to me, but I didn't really listen to the whole project until this one, maybe. It's like a 3-tier how they like track listed it, or I think I saw somewhere how it was meant to be listened to in 3 segments or whatever, but I didn't really. I think I'll have to listen to it more to understand that vibe. I gotta stop using that word. Now it's just in my head, like I can't. Okay, but your if I'm not mistaken, your good friend is the plays the trumpet
player, yeah.
for
the person who does.
Cybertron.
Yo, that's Sam Trump.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
So the whole band is keys. I want to say it's keys, drums, trumpet, trombone, and bass.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
So they are obviously talented. I enjoyed the social, political stances. Obviously, they were talking about the injustices and things that's going on. That's definitely relevant right now. So to be able to have that fresh sound and to be still, actually talking about things like that and just infusing that into the music, it just sounds uh it's it sounds like I know that they are dope live. First of all, like it's probably best of all to listen to live. So I'll just take that into account when I listen to that too. But overall, dope, man. So I'll go on to Yardine. Did I?
Honestly, I don't know how to say it. I just assumed it was Yardine because his name is Gabriel Montano. But
if it's Spanish, it might be Harding. Man.
Okay,
Harding. Okay,
maybe.
Yo,
Harden.
Yeah, that shit could be Javier for all we look, man.
But whoever his name is, man, he's dope. This is I did not expect this from, I guess, like y'all said, from the cover.
Yeah.
Not that is negative cover, but it's just like the sounds that I heard were just new. It sound new.
Man.
I could have listened to this 2 years from now, whatever. Like at any time, like this will sound like fresh or something. I don't know. It was like I felt like he was great at harmonies. Like his harmonies is crazy. It sounded honest, or sounds honest, like not even necessarily the lyrics, just like the creativity of it is dope.
Agreed.
It's like kind of funk pop to me, like funk pop at times, like obviously hip hop and different elements being used. I think he's multi-talented. I don't know if does he produce this? I think he produces this stuff, right?
I honestly don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if he does. I do think he's composing it. I don't know if he's producing it.
Okay. So I know that's one of the things that Adam is gonna put in the post. So
video. Good old fact check.
I felt like I appreciate where his music takes you. Like it's not the same thing, over and over. So the song Sour Mango, super dope. And it was a song Fruit Flies. It was dope for me too. So
2 fruit references.
That's true. Very solid.
Should really look up what Yardine means.
Metallica Death Magnetic. Now I'm usually not a death metal or hard not hard rock, but I don't know.
It's metal.
Right, metal, okay. It's Metallica, so I felt like this was somewhat of a like comeback album for them, right? Like they have been gone for a long time.
They have been away for a while. Yeah.
So
this was a return album. And Oh, side note, Yardine means garden.
Yeah.
Hence the
Oh, cool.
fruit flies and sour mango.
Oh, okay. That's wow.
Word. Pay a little compost in there. I feel that.
And it's like a song called Crawl, which, like you're on your knees most of the time when you're gardening. Like, so yeah, okay. Never knew that.
Okay.
What's up?
All
right.
Yes, please continue. I'm sorry.
No, that was good info. I feel like it was a menacing sound, which I like about it. Like, I mean, like rock, this type of rock, I know that's like the goal. Like, how badass can you sound?
I mean, it's kind of funny because one of the chorus is "Hunt you down without mercy." And
Yeah,
so you said it sounds
like,
menacing.
Yeah, it's just like, what can you say that sounds pretty menacing? Or just even the guitars, like, how can we make these guitars sound menacing?
That's funny.
Which I appreciate. I think I saw that like Rick Rubin has something to do with this.
Nice.
Oh, okay.
Which was interesting. I gotta look further into that. But
shout out to that dude, man. He works with everybody. I
feel like this is the type of music that bikers get their confidence from. When you see them, like when they get off of their motorcycle and they just walking, like this is the music that's in their head. Like, but as far as like just knowing like this is like them coming back or whatever, I feel like it's a strong comeback. Like, not knowing the history of if they heavily fell off or whatever, but for a comeback, I'm pretty sure this is pretty good. Like, because most people who try to reinvent themselves when they get, like, I'm sure they're pretty old. So most of the times it doesn't have the same aggression, but it's like aggressive music. So the song End of the Line was dope. And broken, what was it?
Broken, beaten, and scarred.
Broken, beaten, and scarred.
Oh,
That
yeah.
was, I found them songs interesting. I like it. I didn't think I would like it really, but it was cool. And I think lastly, Esperanza. Esperanza Spalding. I felt like she had a like pure voice. Like it was a pure quality about the music. And I actually, when I first listened to it, I was thinking like, man, her bass player is on point. Like, it's really her. I was like, her bass player is really showing out, man. Like, but obviously it is her. About her voice though, it's not the most powerful voice. It's not the most. Um, it is a good voice, but I don't think it's like she has a very great range or whatever, which is not worth much because I think it goes good with the music overall in her bass playing. But I thought it was very energetic and at times like a poppy sort of jazz, like, and it was is she is of Latin descent.
Yeah, because the song is bilingual. The
Yeah.
album is bilingual.
Yeah, I don't know.
I honestly think it's trilingual.
Yeah, I was thinking like,
because it might be Spanish and Portuguese.
I'm not sure, but I know for Apple, it'll just give you like a little bit of tidbits, whatever. And it mentioned something about her speaking in 3 or singing in three languages. They didn't say what they were though, but
it definitely had like a Latin flair to it, which was dope.
Oh, absolutely.
So yeah,
that's cool. Like when you can sing in other language. I'm not sure if she speaks the other language. Sometimes people just will sing
just sing in other languages. Yeah,
but
that's
regardless though, that's super.
And I think it's really unique that she plays the bass. Like, it's just it's crazy to me that she sings and plays that. So my two, I went with Yardine, and Esperanza.
Okay.
Me too.
Word.
Shit.
Okay.
Straight up.
I was trying to look up fun facts, but I couldn't find them fast enough. Oh well.
Well, all right. I guess
Last but not least,
I guess it's yeast. It's yeast now. It's officially yeast now.
all right, Aaron, let's go for it.
All right. So I should preface this with all of these specific albums out, but one, but City and Color, I listened to twice and just thought they were dope albums. City and Color is one that I had listened to for years now, and just began to revisit it, and that's why I put it on the list. So I don't have as much of an in-depth, like, I guess, resonating experience as I did with other ones, or like, you know, what it reminded me of or whatnot. But I thought they were dope albums, and I'll get into that now. So City and Color first. I don't even remember how I found them. I'm sure it was from like a movie or a TV show, and I just was listening to the song during the scene and later looked it up. But I listened. So this group, this guy, specifically the singer, I've heard his voice on some of his other songs, and I wasn't as pleased. But this particular album, I listened to top to bottom, and I just thought his voice went so well with the music. It sounded so honest and authentic, more than it did in some of the other songs, because some of the other songs I got the feeling of, okay, we might be trying to be poppy or like catchy here. Which maybe was a little harsh, but this album felt more authentic. It felt refreshing from top to bottom. And my favorite songs on this album, Little Hell, are Weightless and Fragile Bird. I mean, it just like some depth to the lyrics, and I think they resonated. They went so well with the music as well. Man, I remember like just really zoning out to many a times I've zoned out to this album with the door closed in my room and just and fell asleep for while I was like reading or drawing or something. While I was like reading or drawing
like
with this song.
Before you said fell asleep, man, that sounded a little masturbatory, but okay. Close the door. Got my candles right. Get the good oil.
Look, man, I mean, I can't promise that Tia Sweets wasn't on during the playing of this album. I don't know if y'all know about Tia Sweets, but she's the shit. Anywho, yeah, that ass is nice. But I'll get to that on a different episode. Don't you worry. But yeah, I love this album, Little Hell specifically, and out of their discography, this album front to back was felt authentic, and it just really resonated with me, and it moved me more than just being a dope album. It actually moved me. It hit me like only a few things too. Oh
man, I don't know why that was so
funny. I don't either, dog. But I rock with it.
Sounds like so much context in there. Like
I rock with it.
Like only a few things do. Like what does that mean?
Oh man, just like not. It's you. I know when like I get that same feeling from an album or from a song. I know that feeling because it hits me in the same way. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna keep listening for sure. I mean, from the first song or two, I'm like, all right, I know I'm about to go in on this album.
You could take that same sentence, replace the word album with ass, and it's completely the same. I love this ass.
Indeed,
it gives me the same feeling. I'm imposing your time. Go ahead.
It's all good. But like on a slightly more serious note, there like this album, man, is just dope. Let's get to Miles Davis, who I've always been a fan of. They're like Metallica. I feel like if you've ever heard of jazz, you know about Miles Davis. You've heard Miles Davis. And actually, this is a substitute because I was looking specifically for Miles Davis's album that goes by the name of The Blue Period. That was he made that album when he was inspired by Picasso's Blue Period. And Picasso's Blue Period was inspired by an unfortunate event where his friend shot himself and thus died. And then he began to paint in like more neutral, like colors, like specific shades of blue, like monotone, monochromatic. And it was like very, and the people he were painting, or like the context of the compositions of the album, of the paintings, were very melancholy. And apparently Miles Davis was inspired. One artist inspired by another. One dope artist inspired by another dope artist. I couldn't find that. I listened to it once. I couldn't remember where I found it. Shit just maybe doesn't exist anymore. I don't know why they would get rid of a golden nugget like that. But so I did some searching and I substituted that with Miles Davis's Kind of Blue album, which I believe is his highest selling album to date. I think it's sold 4 million plus albums so far. So I'm a fan anyway, and I just figured why not jump into his highest selling one, to see most popular. I listened to it twice. It's long, but I think it's amazing, man. And check out the movie Miles Ahead if you haven't. Side note. All right, let's get into Dead Prez. Let's Get Free, the album. If you've ever heard the song, we do it for hip hop, hip hop. My favorite song on the album, man. Those dudes are, yeah, woo. Yo, do you know what I'm talking about? You heard this album, then. I must say it's also a substitute. I was originally going for the soundtrack to the movie Pollock, about Jackson Pollock, the artist's life, based on the movie where Ed Harris played Jackson Pollock. Check it out. It's an amazing movie. Came out a while ago, but check it out. So a buddy of mine who I work with, him and I give each other different suggestions and trade different artists that we might not have heard of, mixtapes, albums. And this is one of the suggestions he gave me. And I hadn't listened to their music in a while. So I remember this album, Let's Get Free. It's dope. I'm gonna keep using this. It hit me in that same, like, it's like it just gave me the feel of, I like hip hop in general, but I just like this type of feel also. It's like the equivalent. It's not gritty like the Griselda, but it gives me that same timeless feel of hip hop that I love, man. I love, and that hip hop joint is just that song is crazy. All right, let's get to Red Hot Chili Peppers, which will clear up all the cake fiasco. Let's clear it out right now. All right, let's clear it out right now. All right. I see my name in the tabloids way too much for this. Here's my chance to clear it up in very Kanye form. But I've always been a fan of Red Hot Chili Peppers. But I listened to this album before years ago, but I only listened to it like one time. And I don't know if I had really zoned out and vibed out the way I did now. And this was also one of my other coworkers a suggestion, because him and I both really like Red Hot Chili Peppers, and he suggested this one. So I gave it a good spin. I think 2 or 3 times, and felt like it was worthy of putting on the list here. I think all 4 of us, to my knowledge, appreciate Red Hot Chili Peppers to some degree.
I do.
Yeah. So that was my reason for this one. So I thought it was dope, but I don't have as much of I don't have much more context than that in regards to why I chose it. So go ahead and pick it apart. No, I'm kidding.
I'll go first if you guys don't mind.
Yeah, go ahead. I'll go last.
Hop in.
Okay.
So I can
So
close out.
Yeah. All right. So I'll talk about the R8CP, Red Hot Chili Peppers album first. So that album, I never listened to the whole thing, but I'm pretty familiar with a lot of the songs on there. I mean, this album has some super giant hits like Scar Tissue, Other Side, Californication. I mean, those are giants. So I mean, this is a big album. So I've liked them ever since I've heard of them. I've never heard. I shouldn't say never, because their first album I can't get with. But we're not talking about that. This album I think is great. I think it's a classic, for sure. So that's that. Then you got let's see, what else did you put on there? Let me look. Oh yeah, the Miles Davis. So I know Miles Davis is a legendary musician. However, I can't say that I've ever really been a fan of Miles Davis, to be honest. At least of what I've heard. Maybe there's something out there that I find amazing, but I think this album, I didn't love it, but it's one of those things that if somebody played it, I wouldn't like turn it off. I would listen to it, you know.
Yeah.
But I can't say that I loved it, but I didn't dislike it. It was pleasant. Let's call it that. It was pleasant. Next up we got next up we have
we have City in Color, Little Hell, and we also have Dead Prez, Let's Get Free.
Okay, so City in Color. For that one, that one was another one where I didn't mind it, but nothing really jumped out at me like that. And but it felt like something I would have really enjoyed in high school, if that makes sense. Because obviously, as we know, our music tastes change and evolve,
right?
And it really felt like something I really would have really liked in high school. So that's that.
Yeah, that's probably when I first heard
it. Maybe. And then last album, Dead Prez. So obviously I know who they are. Actually, the only song I've ever known from them was hip hop, whatever. That's the only song I ever knew by them, and even then, I never really heard the whole thing. I just remember it because Dave Chappelle used to walk out to it.
Yeah.
Dave Chappelle show. But I'm familiar with the two guys from it. I remember watching a interview, and I'll be sure they were on Drink Champs with Nori, and that's when I kind of got to know who they were a little. That's why I like podcasts. But so I was like, man, these dudes sound interesting. I like, and I wanted to check them out from that, but I never did. So thanks for putting this on there, because I really like this album, because it's not it's not quite 90s. I don't think it was 90s.
I think it was 2000.
Okay. Yeah, it didn't feel like 90s, but it didn't feel like, obviously not modern, but it felt good. It was a good
literally came out in 2000.
Yeah.
Nice. So my two picks would be, I mean, in no particular order, but would be Dead Prez would be on there, and
Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Yeah, Red Hot Chili Peppers would be. But if I had to put an order, Dead Prez would be one, Red Hot Chili Peppers would be two. So,
all right.
And technically, really, to think about it, and I'll say this real quick: if it came out in March of 2000, it technically is still a 90s album.
Yeah, because they were recording a lot of that in 99.
Especially the content. I mean,
yeah, and especially back then, because it's not like today where you can record something today and release it Friday.
Right. That's a good point.
And for it to be their debut album, they probably took years on it. So
it'll take a long time. Yeah. All right, Mark, go ahead.
Yeah, I'll go ahead. I'm gonna start out. Well, first of all, I'm gonna say Aaron was kind of cheating with his picks, like to use Miles Davis and Red Hot Chili Peppers. Well, aside from Led Zeppelin is kind of the same.
Yeah.
Well, those particular albums, I for some reason had never really delved into. So they were still new for me.
No, I feel that. I feel that all the way, because I'm glad you put Miles Davis on here, and Dead Press, because they are all of these people are iconic in their own rights, aside from
Yeah.
City and Color.
Yeah.
But
Yo, watch your mouth, cuz. I'm kidding.
I mean,
I'm kidding.
I think he's just being like legitimately
No, I know.
statistically speaking.
I'm just playing. I know.
I guess I can't really make that judgment without listening to all of their music, because maybe I will find that they're
No.
legendary or iconic.
It's still not comparable.
I know what you mean. We'll see.
But as far as Red Hot Chili Peppers, Californication, like this, I'm pretty sure, like, as they say in music, like magnus opus, like I think Miles Davis kind of blew, and this album is their best work. I haven't really listened to them extensively, but I think that this is their sweet spot. But anyway, I thought that the way they fused like hip hop, funk, and like their version of rock was dope. And obviously their lead singer Anthony Kiedis, he's like pretty iconic vocalist. And actually I think they remind me of Cake a lot after I listen to them. Especially how they changed from well, definitely they're both iconic 90s sounds.
Yeah.
And they changed genre or kind of bend genres with the rock and the funk, and like I said, like is a spoken word type of thing going on with them too. So I think that their music aged well for some reason. Like, because I think this was made in, was it 99 or 90?
Yeah, it was
something like
99.
that.
I think it was, yeah.
So it's like
Yeah.
when you listen, like as I listened to it, I was like, this could probably come out now.
It's true.
But there's another like soundtrack to the 90s that I think that song Other Side was always stuck in my head, and I always associated it with like morning, because I used to wake up at the time we had like got free cable from the apartment we were living in, and MTV used to come on every day to wake me up. But anyway,
I remember those days.
they got some songs on here that's like pretty big. Like Adam said, Scar Tissue. The song Porcelain is super dope. It just bring back memories. So I'll go on unto Depress, Let's Get Free. I feel like this album was like a big FU to corporate America. Like,
Yeah.
everything that they were saying was revolutionary. Everything that they were saying was about growth, kind of like they were talking about, this whole wave that people are on now of consciousness. Like they talk about these things, but I feel like they were saying this stuff way before all of that, and it was now it's considered woke or whatever people want to call it. But I feel like
they got
it's like a straightforward, and they got the song that was talking about nutrition.
Yep, I was about to mention. Yep.
Stuff like that, man. Like when you see these artists evolving and start to talk about this type of thing, is good to see. But to know that it was people already out here like doing this well before that, that's what they were, and or they still are, I guess.
Yeah, they stuck. They stuck to it.
Yeah. About economic injustice and the prison industry complex and all that good stuff. I like to research. It's not good, but the information is good to know. I felt like their lyrics are very raw. Like, there's not much more you can say about it. It's like, is militant hip hop, very informative. I think is like they're trying to reveal what America really is in this perspective that has always been tried to be told, but I think they are very militant about it, which is admirable. So moving on to Miles Davis, kind of blue. This is just off the bat, like to me, it sound classy. Like when you listen to it, you know it's of high class. Like have to have this album,
Prestigious.
like
Yeah,
back then, like you had to have this album probably. If
yeah, that
you
must have been
had,
a thing that attracted me to it. I'm sure.
yeah, if you had like a ballroom or something. But no, it's like classic and classy. You know, is like smooth. It's just smooth music. I'm not the biggest jazz person, but I mean, I'm pretty sure this was one of his greatest. I mean, you said it was his highest selling, but judging off of the movie, you know, they wanted him to make some stuff comparable to this,
hmm
and he didn't even want to be considered jazz at all. He wanted to be an entity in itself. Like he didn't care about, not that he didn't care about jazz, but he didn't care about being defined. But
Most definitely.
I think this is probably his greatest work though. It's just is you could tell he's a master at controlling his instrument. Like it's just ridiculous in that sense. It's like very, very blues also and jazz at the same time.
And
Uh Go ahead.
I also heard that he was like he was so good at like improvising. Like on the
Oh
spot,
yeah.
if somebody would mess up in the band, he'll just go with that shit and make it dope. And like
Yeah.
That's
that's
kind of
just
like the
The
epitome
whole
of jazz is
yeah, yeah.
improvisation.
yeah. And like
Yep.
I think that's also like
Yeah,
masterful stuff.
you
Like
could
you know what I'm
tell
saying? Yeah.
that's a good like
Brothers.
improvising. Like you could tell he's a master at that just in listening to his control of the trumpet. Uh yeah, I just thought it was a bright sound. Like as a trumpet is a bright sound, but like it's just a powerful control of it, which is I guess if you played that type of instrument before or attempted to, you have some type of appreciation with the how he mastered it. So um going on
Yeah, you
to
played the trombone, didn't you?
yeah, for a little bit. Like
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yo,
my
Marcus and I were
grandfather,
both.
Military.
yeah.
Yeah. I
And
played
I
the
had it
trumpet.
I
2
remember
years,
that.
so I was like really did I have it 2 years? Not in a row, but I probably had it different semesters, but I enjoyed it, man. I got it from my grandfather,
Oh wow.
his trombone, but
Man, yo, I begged
it was
my
kind
aunt
of
to like
fun.
let me buy that trumpet, and she was like, "Nah, your ass gonna play that shit more than a month."
Yeah,
She was like, "Nah,
that's
wait, I'm not about to spend all that money on this thing. You ain't about to
yeah,
play."
they are expensive, like maybe gold and all that. But
Yeah,
City and Color, uh, I think it was called Little Hell, right?
yeah.
Um, I didn't think the album cover really coincided with the music too much.
Title. Oh man.
Yeah, I don't know. I was staring at the album cover for a long time. It's just
Yeah.
something about it, but I
Remind
didn't
me like
think
a
it
Mark
really
Rothko or something a little bit.
like the layers of the colors and all that.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think those are like flower fields and like what is it? Holland, I think that's what
They
it
are.
was.
so, yeah,
Oh,
it was
I
something
think
like
so.
that. Bunch,
I'm
lots of
pretty sure.
reds and greens and yellows.
okay. Well, overall, I thought it was like a laid back sound. Um, I thought at one point it started out like kind of wispy, like a light rock type of sound. It made me feel like I could I could I could be on a road trip with this music in the West or in the desert or something like that. But I thought the lyrics were like really vulnerable. Like this dude was really
Yeah.
saying a lot, revealing, like deeply emotional almost. Man, the song. Well, first of all, I think is it like kind of folky? It's like a kind of
It
like folk
is.
rock.
It is
And
kind of.
Yeah,
it gave
it's
me
a folk rock.
90s. It gave me 90s sounds too, which a
Hmm.
lot of the music here gave me 90s sounds out of all these.
Nice.
But yeah, I thought the song Grand Optimist was super dope.
Yeah,
He
buddy.
was talking about his father like being an optimist, and then he like flip it and say like, I guess I'll take after my mother.
Yeah.
I think it was pretty dope. And I don't think that they have a strong sound. I don't know what it is, but
Mm.
the songs that they get right is super dope. But then a lot of it I can go without. Like
Word.
there's a few key songs that's super dope. I thought "Oh Sister" was dope.
I think that's actually the first song I heard of them. I think.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, I think so.
and the title track "Little Hell," I felt like it gave me Stan vibes. The some of the chords in it. So I was thinking like, is this one of the reasons Aaron put this on the list?
You can hear Dido.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Go listen to that song and then listen to that Little Hell song. But out of my two, I'll choose Miles Davis and also Red Hot Chili Peppers. It's kind of hard to pick out of this list.
Okay.
But those are my two.
Word. All right, I'll wrap this up. Keep it nice.
Hope
nice
I
and
kept
tight,
it
like new pussy. No, I'm
precisely.
joking. All right, so with this list, this was a nice walk down memory lane. I have not listened to a whole Miles Davis project in so long, so it was nice to sit with that. But it wasn't one of my two. I kind of felt like Adam, where it being on, and especially because I usually never actually have issues with the length of songs, especially when it was recorded with improvisational intent. And so I'm usually always good with that, but it served more as background than something for me to really like tune into.
Yeah.
And that may just be what my ear does these days. But while I enjoyed it, it wasn't like it sat with me like that. Same thing kind of happened for Dead Prez. Dead Prez was like Adam and was saying, hip hop was the only song I had heard before, but this was really, really interesting to hear because of pretty much like damn near everything but the 5% handbook was said in every one of these songs.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Like everything was militant. Like
yeah,
all they need to do is like you hear the sound of them punching somebody in the chest and being like, "Yo, what's today's math?"
yeah. Yo, I think that's what attracted me to them. Though I like that militant feel, man. I think that's what got me.
And so, like, I got nothing against that or whatever. Like, let me not say nothing. I have my reservations toward 5%ers, but it was a fun listen.
Yeah.
My two, though, surprisingly enough, the first one's not surprising. I love Red Hot Chili Peppers. I always have. This comparison of them to Cake, I don't hear that shit at all. But that's just me.
That's what I was saying, bro. That's what I was saying. Yo, there's a reason why you and I are fucking next to each other on my screen in these damn quadrants. Our quadrants are like, our quadrants make sense.
Yo, I mean, like if that's what you hear, that's cool. I don't hear it. Because it's something about his kind of voice where he's not a singer, no, but he has that like
You talking about
older rock voice.
Anthony Kiedis?
Yeah, like he almost reminds me kind of not necessarily in sound, but with the way his voice sounds over music, it almost kind of sounds like the lead singer of The Offspring, except he can sing better. In which that's probably going to be in my next list is Offspring. But I love Californication. I love Scar Tissue. I love Parallel Universe. Like there's so many songs on here that are just fucking great. Compositionally and vocally, I usually dig it. Their cover, it's not even on this, but their cover of Higher Ground is still a timeless classic to me. Now, do I tie that to memories of the first Power Rangers movie? Yes.
Same.
Yeah, buddy.
Skydiving.
Yeah.
Skydiving with snowboards.
Yeah.
I love that movie, man. Damn.
But it's something about his voice that's just always felt good to me. And as far as City and Color, admittedly, I kind of sometimes enjoy romantic films, and this just sounds like the montage of romantic films. Anytime there's a montage of like we're moving through, we don't have time to show 7 years. Aaron, your face got real dark.
I know, man. The
light. Turn the lights off.
Yo, the light I was using just died. The light just died.
I was like, oh shit, Aaron just joined Anonymous.
You know what they do? You know, like when they do like a documentary and they talk to some ex-gang member.
Yeah. 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 Yo, you know I ain't no snitch, right? I ain't no snitch, so I can't be letting nobody.
Face blurred out.
But I didn't like The City and Color the first time I listened to it. It grew on me the next time I listened to it. And
that's a good point. It grew. I wrote that down that it grew on me.
Can I ask you if you had any songs?
Yeah.
Can I ask you, did you have any songs that stood out to you that you remember, that you can recall or no?
The main one I remember is Old Sister.
Okay.
That was one of mine too.
And I think it's because it gives me that feeling of a like Simple Man by Shinedown or what? Yeah, it gives me that feeling. It's not as like gritty, but it has that feeling inside of it, that tone.
Mm-hmm. I think the lyrics went hard on that.
Yeah, man.
On that song too.
Yes, sir.
There's another song too. I can't think of it right now, but yeah. So City and Color and Red Hot Chili Peppers are my two choices. So because I failed to do so, Adam's gonna tally these up in post. But I wanna add a new element, even though we're already over, just to be a bit of a troll. If you had to choose one album of the three of everybody else's three to be your top album, which one would it be?
Of everybody else's?
Everybody in all?
So not including your own albums.
That's a good
question. Who's your top one of everybody else's albums?
Oh, so just the top one instead of the top one instead of the top two. We're just choosing the top one.
Yeah, just top
one.
Okay.
I'm saying the top 12. One of everybody's album.
Not
including your own.
Everybody.
Shit. Okay. I kind of have an idea already, but I feel like it's only fair that I go back and look.
Man, that's kind of hard.
Make sure.
I know. That's why I asked it.
Yeah. I think I gotta go with Led Zeppelin, man. Or I will go with that, or either that or Yardine.
Yeah. Yo, the first thing that came to mind was Yardine. The first thing that came to my mind was Yardine when he said that. I mean,
I'm gonna go with Led Zeppelin because that I knew that they were dope. I mean, not even knew that they were dope. I knew that the hype was surrounded by something real. I'm sure I've heard a lot of their songs, but to hear this first project, it just reassured me like they should be wherever they are. Like,
yeah, held in the esteem that they are held.
Right, exactly.
No, that's true. It's tough for me to choose between Led Zeppelin and Yardine, but I might actually. You can't see me because of this fucking shade, but I'm throwing shade. But
actually in the shade.
I'll probably hear shade is being thrown on you.
Yeah. I'd probably go with Led Zeppelin just because it was such a wonderful introduction to their music, man. It was such a pleasing album, yeah. I was surprised at how much I liked it, so I'd probably go with Led Zeppelin also.
I'm gonna throw a curveball and I'm gonna go Mickey Fax.
Okay.
While I love that Led Zeppelin album and all the respect and everything to them, that's the one that like it sat with me.
Yes.
So I'm gonna go Mickey.
Man, for me,
AJ, who you got?
I'm actually stuck between three. But I'm gonna narrow it down to two and say either the internet or the Yardine or Harding, whatever his name is.
Right.
And I'm thinking now, I'm calculating, and man, I think I gotta go with the internet. I think that's my choice.
Okay,
that's a good one.
Yeah. All right. So by that, Led Zeppelin wins this round. If this was a real thing,
a whole lot of love.
And Adam has won the grand prize of I don't know. Let's think. Adam gets to win 30 days in an undisclosed location on an island owned by not a pedophile. All right, so
hey, I should have co-MVP, man. I should be the co-MVP. I had 2 votes. That's a co-MVP.
Well, y'all, another one in the books. Audio Files, Volume 3. We ain't got to do no fucking parts this time because we tried to keep this more concise. We failed, but we did better.
We did better.
We did better.
Bro.
All right. We want to thank y'all, as always, for listening to the InforMILLy Honest podcast. Man, oh man, this is always fun to do. This is the Audio Files, our sub-podcast, if you will, where we exchange music and we talk about what resonated with us and continue to grow inside of our relationship by putting each other into other vibrations of beautiful and brilliant artists. But most of all, we converse, we challenge, we laugh, and we root everything we do in being forthright, vulnerable, and most of motherfucking all, honest. Much love, y'all. Peace.
Peace, y'all. Thanks for listening. Do come back.
Without shedding a tear for my brother. I really want to try for my brother. 'Cause I truly do feel for my brother.